Welcome back to the Katie Wellness Show. I am your host, Lindsey Katie. Thank you for joining me here today. Have you ever felt like a human pincushion with the amount of blood tests that you were asked to run? Maybe you had a health concern that you were trying to get to the bottom of, and test after test after test shows your blood work is fine. You're normal. There's nothing wrong with you. This can be such a discouraging feeling of going through all the tests and spending all the time and still feeling like you're not getting anywhere. This is probably the top reason why I have clients come to me looking for something different. And I'm sharing many of everything that I share on my podcast is in hopes to change this narrative, to change the idea that we have to have a million tests done and be at this place of desperation before we will look for alternative methods of healing, alternative methods of care. But today in the show, I want to talk to you about the 5 common reasons why people come to me, or why they start to be open to more of a holistic approach when it comes to their health. So the very first one is that they have some significant health issues that they've maybe gone to several other professionals, and their blood work is fine. No one can really tell them what's going on. You start to feel like a human pincushion with all the blood tests. You get the impression, or maybe some people might flat out to tell you to your face that, oh, it's just all in your head. Like you have these aches and pains, and it's all in your head. Um, and the other reason, like your symptoms don't fit the mold. And I'm just here to say that this one size fits all mentality that many other professionals subscribe to is garbage. It is garbage. No one else in the entire world has the same fingerprint as you or the same DNA. Why would the same exact protocol work for you as the next person who has similar symptoms? Symptoms are just the body's way of trying to get our attention, to tell us that something is wrong. Each of us are going to hear or feel or recognize the symptoms in a different way. So the symptoms that we have are indicating that something deeper is wrong. And there is no one size fits all. This is why when I'm working with clients one-on-one, we talk about so many different aspects of their health that we can get a clear picture, not just, hey, are you sleeping well? Are you taking the medications? How's your diet, right? Like we go deep. We talk about um, sleep schedule, stress, coping mechanisms, bowel movement habits. We want to talk about all of those things because they give us a more accurate picture. And also the hair scan technology that I use really is so accurate in predicting the things that are needing attention right now. And as we go down, as we follow that technology, as we follow the paths in the report from that, there is so much information and progress and growth that happens as you continue down the hair scan path. I'm a big advocate for that one because I've seen how accurate the results are. And just if you fall into this category of having health issues that other professionals have been unable to figure out, I just want you to know that you are not alone, and that you're not wrong for feeling that something is off. You feel something is off because it is. So I just want to encourage you to keep leaning into that intuition. That is your body leading and guiding you. We are very intuitive beings, and the more that we can tap into that intuition, the the greater our results will be along our healing journey or along just our journey in life. The second reason that I have clients come to me is many of them don't know how to de-stress. There are many things that cause stress to the system. We think of stress as mental stress, like, oh, I had a stressful day at work, or oh, I was really stressed out at the kids today. But so many things can cause stress on the system. It just means that it's causing our body to work too hard to that it's unable to process whatever it is that we're doing. So some examples of this would be food. Certain foods cause stress to our system. Over exercise, lifting too heavy of weights or only focusing on one type of exercise. The opposite is true, not moving enough. EMFs stress our bodies out. So electromagnetic frequencies, they run at a different frequency than our body's energy system, and it disrupts our energy system. Sometimes our body's energy is not strong enough to block those EMFs all around us from our Wi-Fi, from our cellular data, from all of our Bluetooth devices. Other things that can stress the body out include not getting enough nutrients from your food. Water sources can stress your body out. Beliefs about yourself, beliefs about your experiences, holding low frequency energy. So holding on to anger, holding on to resentment or shame, holding a grudge, those things all stress our system out. And I don't bring all of these sources of stress up to cause you to stress, but many people are unaware of the many different ways to regulate the nervous system to combat many of these stresses on our body. Again, I go back to the hair scan so much because it does tell you the foods that your body is having a hard time breaking down. It tells you if your body's having a hard time absorbing the nutrients that you are eating. It can tell you if your body is being overworked, like an over-exercise thing, or if your cardiovascular system hasn't been supported well enough. That is one of the tools I use in my toolbox for my personal self and also for my family, but it's one that I highly recommend for everyone. Even, if you're only going to get one, it at least gives you a snapshot of where you're at. But most people that I work with, when they have one, they want to see the changes. They want to see, okay, this is where I was. And then in 90 days, okay, this is where I am now. There has been progress. There has been change. And they can have the physical evidence of the changes that they're feeling in their bodies. So if you don't know, regulating your nervous system is huge when it comes to healing your body. And when I work with clients one-on-one, we sometimes talk about breath work. We talk about tapping or EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is just a way of tapping on the energy centers within the body. Breath work and tapping are both things that you can do on your own in your home. There are lots of different ways to do energy work. The modality that I am most attracted to is emotional processing or integrative processing technique. That is the process that I am trained in, the modality that I'm trained in. And basically, you are forming new pathways in the brain to change how you see and respond to stress. So it's looking at your coping mechanisms. Are your coping mechanisms really actually getting you what you want, or are they keeping you in this stress and overwhelm cycle? So when I work with clients, I give them tools to help them de-stress, whether that's the food, the overexercise, the EMFs, or giving them the tools in the moment, the breath work and the tapping, the processing. Third reason why a lot of people come to me is not knowing safe, non-toxic products. There are lots of accounts out there. One account I really love for knowing what's safe, non-toxic products are the Just Ingredients brands. But basically, anything with fragrance written on the label is going to contain endocrine disruptors. There are so many forever chemicals out there. And if this is a specific concern for you, reach out. Let's dive in on things that you are struggling with in finding safe, non-toxic products. I will say this though, learning to read the label is a skill. It is not something that we are just born naturally knowing how to do. As with any skill, it takes time to learn, but then once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. It becomes second nature to flip it over and read ingredients. I will catch my kids doing this in the grocery store all the time when they are trying to convince me to buy a cereal, which I don't buy cereal very often, but they look at the ingredients and they say, oh, this one has corn and soy, and oh, this one has soybean oil. We know mom is not going to get that. And they put it back on the shelf. But there are certain things that my kids already know. This is not a beneficial ingredient. Why is it in here? Do we want to put it into our bodies? Is it worth that exchange? The fourth reason people, the the fourth thing I work with clients on is knowing how to get their families on board with nutritious and delicious recipes. The question may be, I don't know how to get my family to eat healthy foods. How do I get my kids to eat a vegetable? Some of the suggestions that I would make there is don't announce the change, just make it. And my biggest hack, so in 2017, when I came home from Mexico, from the clinic there on this diet of no gluten and no dairy and no pork and no soy and no sugar, and I was so overwhelmed. My biggest advice, or the biggest thing that I learned, was just starting to make subtle swaps to the recipes that I already make regularly. We all have those recipes that we turn to in a pinch that we're like, oh, tonight's Taco Tuesday. So tonight we're going to have tacos. On taco night, swap the store beef for grass-fed beef mixed with sauteed peppers and onions. And if you have a really picky eater, maybe just start with a little sprinkling of peppers and onions, just chopped up really small. I have one of those Pampered Chef choppers. And anytime I'm trying to introduce my family to new foods, I just chop those ingredients up really, really small and try and add them in. And I mix it in with the meat, or I mix it in with the seasonings. Another really simple swap you could make is to, instead of using canned refried beans, which are often made with huge amounts of sodium, unhealthy oils like inflammatory oils, I make my own homemade Instant Pot refried beans. The recipe I have is on my website and it's on my Instagram account, but they are so easy. You soak the beans overnight. Anyway, go find the recipe on my blog, on my Instagram account, or on my website. And they are so easy, they're delicious, and you control the ingredients. So if you don't want soybean oil in your food, you do not have to put it in. If you do not want massive amounts of salt, you don't have to put it in. Another swap you can make on taco night is swapping corn or flour tortillas to a Siete brand. I know they've gotten a lot of flack lately for being bought out by a bigger company, but again, learning to read the back of a label is a skill. So just check whatever you're buying. Or if you really want to add in extra veggies, make it a salad. So instead of having it in a corn or flour tortilla or even a Siete tortilla, make it a salad instead. And then as I'm trying to help my family be more healthy, I just find ways to add more veggies in. So I'll add spinach and carrots to a smoothie. I will mix cauliflower rice with regular rice. I would just find ways to chop it up small and have those ingredients on hand. Anytime that we are leaving the house, I'll try and grab a bag full of veggies. Maybe it's celery sticks or carrot sticks. And I know that if my kids are hungry enough, they are going to eat those things. Maybe even if they don't love them. So those are a couple of tips and tricks for making specific food swaps or trying to get your family on board with eating nutritious and delicious meals. And the fifth reason why people often work with me or want to work with me is they want to know how to get rid of symptoms. Here's the thing, our society wants a quick fix. You have a headache, grab the Tylenol. You have acid reflux, grab the Tums. There are other methods, right? This needing a quick fix is a tricky spot to be in, because it means that we are not taking the time to listen to those symptoms and figuring out what our body is really wanting and needing. So we need to be really careful about quick fixes, but just, for the record, like if you do have a headache, ask yourself, have I had water today? Have I had enough water today? Do I need to add minerals to my water or electrolytes? How long have I been on my phone or had a screen in front of my face today? Those things can really cause a lot of headache and a lot of tension. Can you put a cold compress on your head? Yeah, it's going to require you to slow down. It's going to require you to lay down. It's going to require you to not be productive 100% of the day, and you're going to be fine. How productive are you really when you have a massive headache anyway? So you could put a cold compress on your head. Another one of my, I guess, quicker fixes when I start to have headaches, I look at the things that I've been consuming, and sometimes it may just be a toxin buildup and you need to do a detox. So, coffee enemas really help to reduce my headaches, get rid of some of those toxins that are building up within my body. Castor oil packing can also help with headaches and constipation. I love castor oil packs. Grounding outside, being outside, breathing fresh air, going for a walk, doing some yoga stretches. These are all things that can help you reduce headache, tension, and pressure. Acid reflux. Ask yourself, did I eat too quickly? Right? There are certain things that are going to cause acid reflux, and more often than not, it's not due to too much acid. Oftentimes, it's due to not enough. So, some helpful tips: if you experience acid reflux often, you should limit liquids with your meals. That dilutes your hydrochloric acid, meaning your food is not able to be digested and broken down and absorbed like it needs to because your acid isn't high enough. You need to, if you've experienced acid reflux a lot, avoid greasy foods, right? That's probably one that you've heard of. Avoid greasy foods and spicy foods. Here's a big one. Slow down when you are eating. Chew your food very well. Chew it to a paste before you swallow. Listen, I am not perfect at this. I will tell you, I eat quickly because I've got stuff to do. I've got things to move on to. I don't have time to spend 25 minutes eating one meal. It really does make a huge difference. So even if you can set a timer and try to stay at the table chewing your food for 15 minutes, or even if right now, if you finish a meal in 5 minutes, set a timer and try and stay at the meal at the table for 10 minutes. And when you get that down as a habit, when you get in the habit of slowing down and eating in a relaxed state, then up it to 15. See if you can stay a little bit longer. Sometimes me and my kids will have this competition. They want to eat really fast and go back for seconds. So sometimes when I notice that this is a problem in our family, I encourage a little healthy competition. And I say, whoever can stay at the table the longest wins, or you can't go back for seconds until mom has finished her first plate. So one, that forces me to be really aware of how quickly I'm eating, because the quicker I eat, the quicker they can go back for their seconds. So that helps me to slow down as well. And did you know that there are certain breathing techniques that can help reduce acid reflux? I didn't know this, and Amy Tenney is part of the Thrive team that I used to be a part of, and she taught this amazing class on breath work, and she taught about a breathwork exercises that reduces that acid reflux or that heartburn feeling, and it works, and it's totally amazing. So I'm probably going to share that in a video format on my Instagram feed. So you'll have to watch that for the next couple of days. But it really is truly amazing that our habits do play such a big part in our health. Our emotional state plays into our health. And as I work with clients one-on-one, I really try and address their most specific needs. What do they need at the time? But these five are ones that I see over and over again that other health professionals haven't been able to figure out the issues, that blood tests are inconclusive. I help clients know how to de-stress, how to know if their products are safe or non-toxic, how to make healthy meal swaps, or how to make that transition from, okay, we're eating out a lot or relying a lot on processed foods. How do I make the switch? And then also knowing how to get rid of symptoms. So the more that I work with people, the more that you follow me also on Instagram, I share a lot of these tips and tricks on how to get rid of symptoms, how to get rid of headache, how to get rid of bloating, how to get rid of PMS. Like, there are natural solutions for all of these um, that do not require a prescription or a medication or something to cover up those symptoms. Because again, those symptoms are messages from our body telling us that something deeper is going on. If you are needing help in any of these areas, I would love if you would reach out to me. Find me on Instagram and send me a DM. You can find my website if you are wanting any of these services. If you're wanting a hair scan to go deeper, I do in person and I do mail-in kits, so we can work virtually if you don't live near me in California. Um, or if you are feeling really stuck in your emotions and you really need to work through how your brain perceives and responds to stress, let's do an emotional processing session. Either way, you can hop on my website and book a free discovery call with me. You get 10 minutes to figure out what would be the best route for you. I would love to work with you. And if you're still kind of on the fence, go check out my Instagram page and see if anything that I've shared there is helpful, is up your alley, is what you are needing. But I'm rooting for you. I want the best for you. The biggest reason why I really wanted to start this podcast is because I want this message out there, is that um, you know your body best. And if you are feeling that something is off, please trust that intuition, lean into it, go deeper, ask more questions. Find someone who's not going to tell you that you're crazy, or who's not going to roll their eyes and think you're just making all this up. I believe you. Believe in yourself. Continue looking for someone who's going to work with you to validate your experiences. This is your life and you deserve to live it. You should not be a slave to your health, to managing your symptoms. And if this is a goal that you have too, I would love to work with you. So check out my Instagram page for more tips and tricks, or check out my website if you want to schedule a discovery call, a hair scan, or a processing session. I would love to work with you. That is all I have for today. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. And I hope to catch up with you. Reach out to me on Instagram, send me a DM. I would love to hear from you.